What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Elliott Delp.
Sparky.
Back again like you never left. And today we are going to be talking about why night vision potentially is not enough. There are a lot of things going on in the tactical world where
Wait a minute, is this an opinion video?
This is definitely an opinion video.
Oh, Lord, you better turn off the comments.
I know it. We're going to be talking about, thermal, okay? A lot of people are running nods. Like everybody and their brother's running nods. And, maybe binos themselves, PVS 14s, two PVS 14s, PVS 31s or whatever, maybe it's not good enough. And for the average person, maybe thermal should be incorporated or an option in the bino setup. Okay. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about that, how we have our thermal set up and kind of why we feel it's important. Why we feel that it's something you should at least consider when you're purchasing your setup, because when you're talking about binos, a lot of times it's like $5,000–$6,000, and when you want to incorporate thermal, it could be about the same price tag, depending on how you go about it. Let's dive right into that, but before we do, there are some people we have to thank and acknowledge and some disclaimers. This setup right here was sent out as a loan from IMITATION, so we do have a relationship with them. We're way too poor to afford these. Yeah. So keep that in mind. Second thing, and probably the most important, basement operator. You should go check us out. There you can find helmet builds. You can find awesome merch like what Sparky's got on right here. Yeah. And stickers, buy one, get one free. So make sure to go check us out. It's super important. You should just go on over there and you can find all the links to all the people that support us here on the channel as well. Please. Now we have to thank our sponsors, because those are the people that keep us afloat. Keep the lights on. Keep the lights on, and camera rolling, all the important stuff. Yeah. So we got to give a big thank you to TrueShot. TrueShot is the ammo supporter here on the channel. We love TrueShot because one, they're a one-stop shop for all your plinking ammunition. If you want 5.56, 6.5 Creedmoor, 9mm, basically anything you can think of that you want to plink with. LARPing stuff. You can be found over at TrueShot. So we love them because of that. They're a great place to go check out. You can buy like one box, or you can buy bulk orders, whatever
1,000 rounds, whatever you need.
Whatever you need. Big thank you to TrueShot for supporting us here on the channel. And another supporter that the channel cannot function without. Everyone needs a box cutter or a tomato slicer. Tekto knives.
You know what they say? A man without a knife is a man without a life. So you always gotta keep one on you.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, that should be coined. We've been actually using their knives for quite some time now. This is my little EDC knife. This is the F1. Sparky also carries a Tekto.
This a little bit bigger.
A little bit bigger.
Straps in the way. Hold up a minute.
This one's the
speed
assisted knife. It's really nice. It's big. It's really good for like a woods knife or something like that. I actually EDC'd that one for a while, but they're pretty sweet. They all have these little glass breakers here on the bottom. So, if you ever get in a car crash, you need to bust the glass out of your vehicle or whatever, this can handle it. They're also really nice, really comfortable.
Nice texture on them.
Very nice texturing on them. So I've been a big fan of the Tekto knives. We've been using them for quite some time now, and we really appreciate the support they've given us here on the channel. Another big thank you we have to give is to AceLink. They are the armor sponsor here on the channel. We've been running their armor for quite some time now. We really like it, and we're actually testing this helmet that you see right here. This one's from AceLink. So big thank you to AceLink for supporting us here on the channel. So like we had previously mentioned, night vision is a very big part in the tactical community and in the hunting community, for matter of fact. And this,
or just being prepared.
Or for just being prepared, exactly. And I think this video will cater to a little bit of every aspect of that. So let's talk a little bit about thermal. And we have an ArmorSight Sidekick here, and this is paired with an ArmorSight PVS 14. The ArmorSight Sidekick is a 640 core. All right, and the PVS 14 is a Gen 3. And you can see they are bridged here with a Raven
Group. That's right.
Spelled weird because it's cool.
That's right.
All right, but it's a Raven Group bridge. It mounts to the Wilcox mount, just like pretty much everything else in the world, and super easy to use.
Wham.
Bam. All right.
You are now cool.
You are now cool. This thing right here is the Sidekick Thermal. And this is what we're going to be referencing when we talk about thermal application. All right, so this has a 640 core, and it has a plethora of awesome little features like different pallets. All right, it has a wide variety of like functionality to acclimate it for, you know, scanning use and for pairing it with a PVS 14. Like it has a rotation feature, which allows it to flip around in there depending on if you're running it like it's supposed to be ran as a handheld, or if you're running it kind of like this, where it's basically upside down, so it'll rotate the screen. And it can also be acclimated with the PVS 14. So the Sidekick is meant for a lot of different things. But let's talk about the benefits of running a thermal with your PVS 14. Traditional Gen 3 night vision is super crystal clear. There is a lot of, you know, detail when you're looking through, and you can see a lot, especially if the stars are out or the moon's out. There's a lot of ability to see. It's really nice, and you know, it's really clear.
Yeah, I mean, you can read a piece of paper through it.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, it's really nice, and it's really a great piece of technology. But where the thermal shines and kind of adds benefit to the PVS 14 is being able to identify heat signature.
Yes. So potential target.
So a potential target, exactly. So where this shines is if you're looking out into a field, right, you can pretty easily hide from Gen 3 night vision.
Yeah.
If you're camouflaged correctly, or if you are, you know, being very careful with your movements.
Basic concealment,
you can defeat Gen 3 night vision. If you don't have any reflective clothing on and you are thinking about what you're doing, it's fairly easy to defeat.
See that tree right there? Just get behind it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that would defeat thermal.
Yeah, it would defeat thermal too.
But there's no real like standout with the Gen 3 night vision. And that's where the thermal kind of picks up a little bit of the slack. So if you're running a thermal paired with Gen 3 night vision, you can scan with your thermal, which will give you the heat signature. So whether it's somebody walking through the woods, or it's a coyote or a dog, bobcat, you name it, you can identify that there is something with a heat signature and then it's moving out there.
Like both will complement and confirm the other. Like if you like pick up some of the heat signature, you can more quickly identify it specifically in detail with the night vision. And same thing with night vision. If you see something that you think, like you see a silhouette of something, you don't know if it's a person or not, the thermal's like, oh, okay, cool, that is somebody.
Yeah.
So they both kind of work hand in hand.
Yeah, they work hand in hand, they complement each other. And a lot of people, when they go coyote hunting, what they'll do is they'll either run a monocular to, you know, identify that, oh, there's something out there, and then they'll switch to the night vision on their...
To see specifically
what it is and to do target identification.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of a lot of, you know, night shooting and night hunting is target identification.
Probably the most important thing about it.
Yeah, and making sure you know what you're shooting. And that's kind of where they work hand in hand, because the thermal, it really does good at identifying that there's heat out there.
Yeah.
Depending on what kind of core you get in your thermal, whether it's a 320 core or 640, depends on how much detail you will see of what's out there. Sometimes with a 320, you'll look out there and it'll be a blob. So you just know
there's heat somewhere. There's a thermal signature coming. Like you just know it's a warm body.
Yeah, you just know it's a warm body, and you don't know who it is, and you don't know what it is. So like a dog and a coyote, they're obviously
very similar.
Very similar. They have behavioral differences.
Yeah.
But if you're new to hunting, you might not know those behavioral differences, and you might pop somebody's blue.
Yeah, watch it. You watch him healers. Man.
Yeah, you might pop somebody's blue healer. So with the night vision and the thermal combo, it allows you to both actually, you know, go reach out there and identify that there's something out there, and then identify the target itself, and to confirm and make a reasonable or a very accurate decision. And so you don't hurt somebody that's not supposed to be hurt, or shoot something that's not supposed to be shot.
And like bringing that up, like when I was playing with this at my house, like using the thermal, I could tell like my dog, I could see, okay, there's my dog. But then comparing it with the NVG, I could see the spots on my dog.
Yeah.
Like, so you're like, okay, yeah, I know that's a body. And then, oh, I know this is my dog because I can actually see the features of my dog at
whatever.
40 yards.
So then that comes into how it's deployed. All right, so how do you want to run the combo? And there's several different ways. And we kind of just mentioned one with hunting, like running a mono and then backup NVG on your weapon system, okay? But then there's how we have it set up here with the Armor Sight Raven Group combo. And as we previously mentioned, PVS 14 and a sidekick. There's two different methodologies really you can implement. The first is running them both down, okay? And this is probably the more difficult way to do it.
I would agree.
Not that it can't be done, not that it can't be learned and developed.
Just a little trippy.
But it is a little trippy, and it takes a lot of time under them to get used to running them like this. So what this will do is this will basically trick your mind into blending the images. All right, and there's a setting in the sidekick which will help you align with the PVS 14.
So you get a little bit of an overlay.
So it's kind of an overlay, and your mind will do a lot of that for you. When you're looking through them, it kind of, just like you're looking through binoculars, it kind of bridges them.
Yeah.
Now, it's not perfect by any means,
No.
but it's
doable.
It's doable, and it's cheaper than buying like two PVS 14s and running the little, that mini thermal that you can get that sticks off to the side that does a thermal overlay.
Yeah.
I think that's super expensive. I forget what it's called. It's like, it starts with the L. Remember they were talking about it in the night vision class.
Oh, yeah, I can't remember exactly. But
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
It's a lot cheaper than doing that.
Yeah.
So this is the first methodology and the first way to run it. Now, this is definitely difficult. So the
Massive learning curve.
massive learning curve. What I would recommend for a lot of people is just running one that you need to run at the time of use, right? So like for this, I have the PVS 14 down. I have it mounted here on the right side because I do all my shooting with my right eye. So if I'm doing passive, or if I am using the optic, if I'm using a laser, I will be using, I'm right eye dominant, so this is where my PVS 14 needs to be on my right side, right?
Yep.
If I'm scanning, what I'll just do is I will just flip it up,
Bring the thermal down.
bring the thermal down, and I'll scan with my left eye. And this is how I have really more enjoyed using this setup. Now, obviously, binos are better because, you know, you get to use both eyes, but a single tube, it's still usable. It still gives you the night vision option. I know Coleman hates it with a passion.
It's frustrating. Like, I just didn't enjoy it. Like after using traditional binos, both NVG, it was a whole, like once you do that, it ruins it.
Yeah.
And just doing single tube, it was frustrating. But with this setup, when I was running with both down, it is funky. Like it's hard to get used to. But then I pretty much just did what you did, is I just ran NVG most of the time. And then when I needed the thermal, I either brought it down and figured it out and sucked it up, or just flipped them and ran the thermal when I needed it.
If you're buying this for a hunting setup, I think this is a very...
Yeah, because you can toggle between the two.
You can toggle between the two very, very easily. And what I think another great use of this would be is like for your average home prepared individual who is not like constantly running tactical scenarios or doing a lot of tactical training, but they want something they can do a little bit of night vision with, but also, you know, protect the property with, or you know, scan with at night to make sure there's nothing out.
The downside to this setup in something that's not a tactical situation, so like hunting or in the home or being prepared, you either have to have a helmet or run the headband. So that's the downside to this setup for anything not tactical.
True.
Because you either have to just have a bump helmet, or I mean, if you're not doing anything tactical related, you're not going to have a helmet.
Well, if you're buying this setup, you're going to have a helmet.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like you have to have the helmet.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're right.
Or you have to wear the headband.
The headband's goofy.
So that's the only downside to this in a non-tactical scenario.
Right.
So hunting or being prepared in the home kind of stuff,
you need to have a helmet set up.
You have to have a helmet set up.
But also on that same note, if you're spending $8,000 on
you can afford $400 for a helmet.
You can afford a $400 Ace-Link helmet. So
there's your shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
But yes, you're right. If you can spend that kind of money, what's another $400? But still, it's one extra thing you got to worry about.
Right. Or you can always just run them as monos.
You could, or just handheld.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. That's the only downside.
Right.
It's an extra step, but I mean, it's kind of necessary for
Necessary
this
evil.
application.
That's really how I feel this should be ran and this should be used is a helmet setup. So Sparky, do you have anything to add here?
Yeah, when's lunch?
Oh, well, here soon. So I think this, to conclude it, is a very nice option if you're in between a lot of different scenarios. If you're doing a lot of hunting, you're doing a little bit of tactical stuff, or if you just want to be prepared in the home.
You want to have that extra option.
You want to have that extra option. I think pairing night vision with thermal serves a lot of use in terms of identification, in terms of spotting, and I think it does a lot of good for the right user.
Yes.
And it really depends on what your actual end goal use case is for the night vision thermal combo and whether or not you should pick it up. So, you know, depending on who you are, this might be for you, and depending on who you are, it might not be for you.
Yeah, if you're just strictly flat range and stuff at night and shooting targets, that thermal ain't gonna do you no good.
Yeah.
Because the paper target don't have heat signature last time I checked.
Yeah. So, you know, there's definitely a lot of different applications. So if you want to check this out, head on over to Armorsight. That's where we picked this thing up from. It runs about $8,000, $7,000, give or take, which, you know, $3,000 for the thermal and another $4,000 for the PVS 14 puts it right on the money. I wouldn't really say it's over or underpriced. I think they're
very good quality for the money.
Very good quality and very good value. So I think that about does it. We really appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure to follow Sparky on the Instagram. Make sure to follow me on the Instagram, and we'll see you on the next one. As always, take this one outdoors. Peace.
Bye.
Can you hear me, Hunter? Hello. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to... Thank you.
It's like you didn't wear deodorant or something.